Hello everyone, this is Vijit Misra and welcome to this new video. In this video, we are going to discuss about the National Pension Scheme or National Pension System in detail. So let's start this video. Let's come to my screen. If you see here, the first question it may come to your mind, who can basically contribute the amount of money to the National Pension Scheme or National Pension System? First thing is basically any individual can contribute certain amount of money for the retirement by investing the money in the national pension scheme. So the first thing is basically any individual like me and you, whether you are employed or not, whether you are a businessman or not, any individual who is basically a individual, they can invest the money under the national pension scheme for the retirement benefit, to take the retirement benefit. So basically, what are the money you are investing that will be invested in different types of funds, and at the time of retirement, at the time of 60, you will basically get a lump sum amount of money. Also certain amount of money will be invested in the annuity, where every month you will get certain amount of pension. So that is basically main concept of this national pension scheme or national pension system. So the second question, who can join? Basically, who all are the people who can join this national pension scheme? Any citizen. First thing is any citizen, whether he is a resident or a non-resident, they can basically invest the money under the national pension scheme. Subject to the age restriction, is basically starting age is 18 and age is like 60. That means if you are a person whose age is between 18 to 60, whether you are a resident, whether you are a non-resident, that means whether you are staying in India or outside India, you can take this benefit and you can invest your money under the national pension scheme. So that is the second question. The third question, it may come to your mind, what are the types of retirement account that is available in the system under the national pension scheme. First of all, there are two types of account. One is basically tier 1 account, another is basically tier 2 account. Okay, there are basically two types of account. One is tier 1 account and then is tier 2 account. So tier 1 account is basically, this is a non-withdrawal retirement benefit account, which can be withdrawn only after meeting the exit criteria. That means, so if you're investing your money under this tier 2 account, tier 1 account, in such a case, what will happen? You cannot withdraw that money whenever you want. So basically, you can only withdraw that money whenever you are meeting the exit criteria. That means if your age is becoming 60, then only you can withdraw the money. Or if your some unfortunate death is happening, in such a case, your family member will get the money. Or you have to comply with certain rule and regulation, then only you can exit or you can withdraw that money. But in case of tier 2, what happened actually? This is basically a voluntary system. So this is purely a voluntary system. And available for the, this is basically available in addition to the tier 1 account, and this is basically purely for the saving purpose, investment purpose, and there are no tax benefit will go, there is no lock-in period, no restriction on the withdrawal. That means tier 2 account is basically, you can say, less regulated. That means this is purely for investment or saving purpose. So you can see here, this is basically purely for the saving and investment purpose, and you will not get the tax benefit. That means whenever you are contributing the money under the tier 2 account, you are not going to get a single amount of tax benefit. And even if whenever any interest is getting accumulated, that will also not tax exempted. Whenever you are withdrawing that money, that is also not tax exempted. So these are basically the three things. And there is a lock-in period. You can see in case of tier 1 account, there is a lock-in period, like till the time of 60 you cannot withdraw the money. There are plenty number of lock-in period, plenty number of conditions are there that we'll discuss later. But in case of tier 2 account, there is no lock-in period, there is no regulation, no restriction, nothing. So this is basically, you can understand, the tier 1 account is purely regulated, and tier 2 account is regulated but less regulated. You can say there is rule, regulation, and law. It is slightly less. Okay. The next question, it may come to your mind: will government contribute any amount of money to the NPS? No, absolutely not, because this is purely a basically you are contributing the money, and what is happening, basically government is managing on your behalf, but the organizations are managing on your behalf. So government is not going to contribute a single amount of money for this. Can I have more than one NPS account? No, you cannot have more than one NPS account. You're only allowed to have only one NPS account, that is basically integrated to the PAN number. That is all about the, you can say, the all about the rule and regulation. Then minimum contribution क्या है? You now understand what is the tier 1 account and tier 2 account. So in case of tier 1 account, minimum transaction कितना होना चाहिए? 500 rupees. That means whenever you are contributing a single time, minimum तो 500 contribute करना चाहिए. You cannot contribute 400 rupees. एंड मिनिमम कंट्रीब्यूशन पर एनम, एक एनम में, एक 12 महीने में कितना करना चाहिए आपको? 6,000 रुपये का, मतलब मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ मिनिमम अमाउंट ऑफ मनी यू टू कंट्रीब्यूट. Same manner, in case of tier 2, minimum contribution per transaction is 1,000 rupees, and the minimum contribution per annum is basically 2000 rupees, and number of transaction, frequency of transaction, or number of transactions at least you need to contribute at least once in a year. Year means that is basically financial year. The next question it may come to your mind, what are the different fund management scheme that is available in case of NPS? So there are basically two types of fund management scheme. एक तो है active fund management scheme and another is auto. Active is basically, take the example, I want to tell to the manager कि 80% of my money allocate to the equity, 20% of my money allocate to the debt. In such a case, that is basically called as the active. But whenever auto means basically 50-50. Take the example, that government or that law will decide, or the fund manager will decide how much he need to allocate to the equity and how much they need to allocate to the what is the debt. So that is basically the pure about the active and auto scheme. But remember one thing, in case of active, you have to decide कि भाई मेरे को अभी 25% I want to allocate to the debt and 75% of money have to be allocated to the equity, or 30% to the debt or 70% to the equity. That basically you have to do. But remember one thing, between the age 50 to 60, even if you are taking an active choice, there is certain restriction. Take the example, at the time of 50, so maximum actually 75% of your money can be allocated to the equity. Take the example, you have chosen the auto choice, and at the age of 51 you are thinking ki I will allocate 40% of my money, or sorry, not 40. I will allocate 10% of my money for a debt instrument and 90% money for the equity. It is not allowed because maximum is basically 75%. That means, sorry, you have to comply with this law. Basically, whenever your age is becoming more than like what I can say 50, in such a case there is certain restriction like 75 to 50%. At the time of 60, you are not allowed to allocate more than 50% of your contribution to the equity fund. That is basically the restriction that is available that you need to comply. So you can just simply refer this table and you will understand actually what is the term and condition and how normally it happen. Okay. And the next question it may come to your mind, ki switching of the scheme is possible. Example, auto to active, yes, it's possible. Switching. If you want to switch the scheme from auto, like what I can say, active to auto, that is possible, 100% possible. Is this possible to switch from one fund to another fund? Take the example, you have invested your money under LIC scheme and you want to take to the SBI. Is it possible? 100% possible. You can do at any time. Okay. The next benefit, then the next thing is basically what the basically tax benefit. Tax benefit is basically you are getting two benefits. One in deduction you will get under 80CCT1, that is basically employees contribution, and another is basically you will get under 80CCT2, that is basically employers contribution. So let's do one thing. Let's go to the notepad and understand ki what are the benefit, like how benefit normally we're getting in this case. Okay, so take the example, there is a person called Ram. Okay, so Ram is basically employed in a company called ABC Limited. Okay, so what is happening basically every month or every year, Ram is also contributing certain amount of money, and what I can say, the company is also contributing certain amount of money to the national pension scheme. Okay, so two parties are basically contributing to the national pension scheme. How much Ram is contributing? Ram is contributing basically 50K, and ABC Limited is also contributing around 50K or 50,000 rupees. So what RAM is contributing, that contribution under the NPS, that will cover under 80CCD 1 section. Okay, and what ABC Limited is contributing, that will cover under 80CCD 2 section. Okay, तो इसका ये मतलब है, take the example, Ram is having an income of around, like take the example, he is having an income of around like 5 lakh rupees, and what are the deduction he will get? He will get a deduction under 80CCD 1 and 2. How much? Already I have told, here he is contributing 50,000, here he is contributing 50,000. That means here he will get, just a minute. Yeah. So here he will get, 50,000. Okay. And here he will get 50,000. It means the taxable income, what are the taxable income will be applicable to him? So that will be basically 4 lakh rupees. Wow, 4 lakh, there is 5 lakh minus that amount, that is basically the 4 lakh rupees. So that you have to understand, whenever we are contributing. So there are two sections are there. There is basically 80CCD1 and 80CCD2. Under these two sections, you are getting the tax benefit. Okay. Okay. So let's come to the next thing. So basically, tax benefit we are getting under 80CCD1 and 80CCD2. The next thing is basically provision for the withdrawal of the money. How you can withdraw that money and what is the provision for that? Sorry. So minimum 40% of the fund has to be invested in the annuity. एक चीज याद रखो, 40% of the money has to be invested in the annuity. And the balance 60% can be withdrawn. The balance 60% can be withdrawn. Take example, you have 100 rupees. Out of 100 rupees, 40% has to go to the annuity and 60% has to be withdrawn. Example, if your NPS corpus is around like 1 crore rupees, then maximum 60 lakhs can be withdrawn at the time of retirement. Whenever your age is becoming 60, at that time maximum like 60 lakhs you can withdraw and 40 lakhs has to be go to the annuity. Note, if you are retiring and does not want to continue prior to like 60, then 80% of the corpus has to be invested in the annuity. Agar you are retiring at the age of like 50, 55, 58, which is below like 60, at that time you want to like withdraw the entire amount of money, it is not possible. So in such a case, 80% of corpus has to be invested in the annuity and balance 20% is you can withdraw. Note, in case of death of a subscriber prior to 60, 100% of the corpus has to be refunded. So that is the worst thing. So let's do one thing. Let's go to the like what I can say. Just a minute. Yeah. So let's go to the note and understand in detail कि how normally it works. Okay. So ये कैसे काम करता है अभी इसको एक बार देख लेते हैं. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm sorry for this delay. Okay, the first scenario, what is happening actually, there is a person called, his name is basically, you can understand the Ram. So Ram is retiring at the age of or equal to 60 years. Okay, so 60 साल के बाद Ram is basically retiring. In such a case, the assumption is basically Ram is having a NPS corpus of around 1 lakh rupees. Ram is having an NPS corpus of around 1 lakh rupees. In such a case, we have two scenarios. First of all, how much will go to the annuity and how much will go to the non. So basically, first thing is basically here annuity and how much he can withdraw. So annuity में कितना आएगा आपका? Annuity में as per the law, minimum 30% of the money has to be allocated to the annuity. And how much he can withdraw? At least 60% of the money, maximum 60% of the money he can be withdraw. That means here 40k has to go to annuity. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah, 40k has to be go to the annuity, and here the 60k can be withdrawn. That means what is happening in this case, Ram is a person who is retiring after 60 years old and he has a NPS corpus of around 1 lakh rupees. In such a case, maximum how much he can withdraw only 60k, because 60% of the corpus can be withdrawn. And remember one thing, 40% of the corpus minimum 40k has to go to the annuity. That means from here actually in future he will get the pension. Okay, but what law is saying, 60% has to be withdrawn. That is the first scenario. First scenario is basically Ram is what I can say retiring post 60. That's the first thing. Let's understand the second scenario. What is happening in case of second scenario? So take the example. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So take the example. Here Ram is there. Okay. And now he is retiring prior to 60. 60 साल से पहले at the age of like 55 he is retiring, and right now he has a corpus of 1 lakh rupees. Okay, that is basically your NPS. He is having a NPS of purpose of 1 lakh. Now, in this case, what is happening? Law is saying कि maximum 20% he can withdraw. Okay, and 80% has to go to annuity. Law is saying. So whenever Ram is retiring like before 60 years, in this case, what are the NPS corpus he is having? In this case, what is going to happen actually? Maximum 20% he can withdraw. As on today, he can take 20k full cash to his home. Okay, but the balance 80% there is basically, you can say 80k that he cannot take to his home as a cash. He has to invest that money as an annuity. That is what the law is saying. This is the second scenario. Right now, you understand, I think. Okay, the third scenario, what is happening actually? So in third scenario, what is happening? So Ram is a person. What is happening? He's died actually. He's died right now, and he has a NPS corpus of 1 lakh rupees. In such a case, if he's dying and he has an NPS corpus of 1 lakh rupees, in such a case, his family will get this entire amount of money as a what I can say, entire amount of money. That is basically the first third scenario. So whenever Ram is dying and Ram is having a purposefully 1 lakh rupees, in case of that what is happening, he is going to get that entire 1 lakh rupees to his account, to his family account, so that they can at least sustain, they can live their life. So this is basically the 2 or 3 scenarios what I was discussing. Okay. The next question is basically right now. I think this is basically the more what I can say. This is more critical areas. I hope you understood these areas. And okay. So then the next question it will come as what are the types of annuity? So types of annuity means what are the money you are investing in annuity? What are the types of annuity? First of all, is payable for life, payable for at uniform rate of annuity. For example, you are retiring at the age of 60 and you are investing that 40% of your money. Till the time you are alive, you are going to receive a equal amount of money at the end of every month or at the end beginning of every month. That basically what it is like. Second thing is basically payable at 55, 10, 15, 20 years until the date of you are alive. So every 5 year, at the end of 5 years, you will get a lump sum amount. At the end of 10 years, you will get a lump sum amount. At the end of 15 years, you will get a lump sum amount. So that is basically the second criteria. And last thing is the pension payable for life. That means every time you will get the pension. That is basically there are few scenarios you have to understand. Okay. The last thing, partial withdrawal. So whether it is possible to withdraw that money. Yeah. So first of all, partial withdrawal is possible only when you have invested money in the NPS for at least 3 years. That is the first criteria. And maximum 20% of corpus can be withdrawn. So, take example, you have a corpus of around 1 lakh, then 20k is only allowed. 20k is only 25k. Sorry, 25k is only allowed to withdraw, and maximum 3 times withdrawal possible. So in your lifetime, only 3 times of your fund you can withdraw. So that is broadly these are the what I can say. These are the things you need to consider. These are the things you need to understand, and these are the things you need to understand, and based on that you need to act. So thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye. Please subscribe to my channel and please press the like button and share this video with your friends. Thank you so much.